Everybody, to say for CedItUp Production, and I'm back again, and this is a CedItUp Production movement right now. Today I got a special guest today. I wanted to do this particular show because we are going down to the wire on income tax. So I want to bring in my special guest, and that will be Rolanda Johnson that's joining me now. How's it going, Rolanda?
Woo, it's busy over here in the final stretch.
Yeah, and like I said, I wanted to do this because, like I said, we're down to, like you said, down to the final stretch or whatever, and we got it to the 15th to get this squared away or whatever. So, what should people be looking forward to if they don't have it done by the taxes done by the 15th?
Well, if you do have an anticipation tax debt, you need to file an extension because you want to file an extension so that you won't get hit with a penalty for filing late.
Okay.
So you want to minimize your tax bill and your liability to the IRS as low as possible because if you're anticipating already having to pay them, you don't want to pay them more than you need to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
filing an extension is what they would need to do, and the extension has to be filed by April 15th.
Okay. How would they go about doing that? Just
They can contact a tax professional and they can file an extension for them.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So the thing is, I mean, the people that's filing and it seems to be a few people are waiting and still waiting. What's the holdup now? I mean, is it? It ain't shut down. Everything's not shut down, but what's the holdup? Because people have been waiting for a minute now.
Procrastination. That's it. It's just procrastination. People hate taxes.
Yeah. Well,
So that's it.
well. As far as like even with people, because I know a lot of people, and we're about to get into it right now, and we're going to talk about the business part of it. But a lot of people get audited this year. I see. I mean, a lot of people that I know I got audited this year. So,
Mhm.
what's the deal behind that? You think?
Well, the deal behind auditing is just simply the IRS is just questioning what type of credits and deductions that you have on your tax return, and they just simply want you to substantiate those credits and deductions.
Gotcha.
So, what I always tell people, if you have been truthful about everything on your tax return, are nothing.
Okay.
They are cakewalk. All you need to do is provide them the documentation that they want, and you're all good. But people hear that word audit and just freeze up and
Yeah.
think I'm going to jail or I'm gonna owe a bunch of money. It's not that deep. Now sometimes it is. Don't get
Mhm.
me wrong. All audits are not easy. Because sometimes an audit could just get a little sticky because it's just a lot that they want you to substantiate. So that just gets tedious. But again, if you have your paperwork in order, whatever you've put on your tax return, all you need to do is gather it again and submit it to the IRS.
I mean, it is intimidating. I mean, because you don't know how much you owe, and then if it's the bill is too high, you're wondering how I'm going to pay it and stuff like that. So, I mean, because I've been through that stuff a couple of times in my lifetime. So, I mean, and it ain't no punk. I mean, because they
Yeah.
want their money. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying?
they
So,
want their money. They want their money, and they want their paperwork too. So
yeah.
let's just say, for instance, if someone files head of household and they have a couple children on their tax return and they're
Mhm.
questioning their earned income credit, the things that they will want you to send in is proving that that child is that relationship to you, whether you put that child as your niece or nephew or it's your own child. They want
Mhm.
to make sure that that relationship is valid. So just say, for instance, if you claimed your own children, what you would have to provide them to prove that that's your child is their birth certificate because your name would be on their birth certificate. So that
Yeah.
would prove that relationship. And then other things that they would want for head of household, if they're questioning earned income credit, would be to give them documentations that you did head that household. And so heading the household means that you paid for the expenses to run that household. So rent receipts or mortgage statements, electricity bills, gas bills, grocery bills that would show that you maintain that household.
Gotcha. I mean, because some people, I mean, when you're doing this stuff, I mean, because it's it's kind of best to me. And I just started to this shit because I thought, did my text with you. You told me how to do certain things, what as far as keeping up with receipts and things like that. Um, and those are the type of things you want to try to keep in contact with your receipts. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause especially if you want to do a itemize or whatever you call it.
Mhm.
I'm talking, but this is your
Yeah,
type of talking.
but I know, but you're right. Like if you want to itemize your deductions, itemizing mean that you want to take a bigger deduction than what the IRS has set forth for your filing status. So like head of household has a standard deduction. And what a standard deduction means is that you get to deduct that amount of money tax free from your wages. And
What?
so if you want to take a bigger deduction, you're going to itemize, which means you're going to claim interest paid for a mortgage. You're going to claim property taxes, medical expenses, charitable donations, things of that sort.
Gotcha. So I mean that being said, I mean how what things can you can itemize anything pretty much, right?
No, you can only itemize what's on what's called the Schedule A. So on
Okay.
the Schedule A, there's medical expenses above 7.5% of your adjusted gross income.
Hmm.
Then you can and medical expenses would include like vision, dental, co-payments, specialty payments. You even get to deduct medical mileage, like if you're going back and forth to the doctors for like doctor's appointments, therapy sessions, those are deductible. Medications, even OTCs. A lot of people don't understand that you can deduct OTCs, over the counter drugs, if that's something that was prescribed by a doctor.
Not your
Those are
weed
tax
man.
deductible. Yeah. Other medical expenses is like band aids, alcohol, things like that that you need to care for a wound if you're treating a wound,
Okay.
trying to heal a wound. So there's a lots of anything that's medically needed
Hmm.
for you that is tax deductible under those medical deductions. And then when
Not
you get into like different taxes, personal taxes, like from purchases of personal items like vehicles, boats, RVs,
mm,
those are deductible. Taxes paid for state and local income tax, those are deductible on the Schedule A.
mm,
Interest paid for mortgages, timeshares that you may own,
mm,
those are deductible. So there are a lot of things on a Schedule A that
mhm.
would be deductible, but just not everything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I know a lot of people probably don't know as far as like you could deduct like you said the car insurance. Could you do that?
Not car insurance, not on a
Okay,
Schedule A. Car
gotcha.
insurance is only deductible if it's a business expense, and you will write that off on your Schedule C if you
But
have a business.
but you can do the car and you can do the gas mileage, right?
That's if it's a business expense, not just a regular person with a 9 to 5 job writing off gas expenses. That was something pre-Trump that used to be an unreimbursed business, I mean, employee expense, but I hate that that deduction was taken away.
Gotcha.
That is something that we were able to deduct on the tax return.
Okay, we have a question. Somebody from YouTube. They're asking, what about food? If you're are required to have a special diet for medication condition.
Hmm.
Got you.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Uh,
I'm gonna say yes, but I would have to really look that up to give you a definitive yes. But I'm gonna say yes.
okay, gotcha. That was a good one because
That
I
is
never.
a good one. That is a
Yeah.
good one.
Well, I mean, definitely. I mean, Rolana's always here to help. So I mean, you definitely want. We'll have her give her information before this thing is over. So still stay tuned. We'll give all the information, then we'll help you out with that one. Now with the audit, like I said, with the audit, like far as like, let's get into the business part of it because we got a lot of people in here that's because they know what I posted up. We talking about business audit and just business period.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Recently, like right now, I got audited because of my business. They
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, you, we're gonna pick you. You know what I'm saying, to do it. They pick random people. They say, okay, we're gonna pick you. So
Right.
the thing is with that, I mean, you got to be prepared with that because it kind of caught me off guard because it ain't like they could just randomly pick you. So
Yeah. And let's be clear, your audit is a state audit. It's not a federal audit. So it's the
okay,
state that you reside in that is auditing your state tax return.
okay, what's the
Yeah.
I mean, what is the difference? I mean, because is it just? I thought that'd be all in the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
It's the entity. So when you file your taxes, if you reside in a state that requires you to file a state tax return, then
Hmm.
you have to file a federal tax return with the IRS, and then you have to file a state tax return with the Department of Revenue in the state that you reside in.
Okay.
So you have two separate tax returns.
Yeah.
So with your particular situation, your particular state is auditing you for your business expenses.
Yeah, because I think this is my second time doing it, so they
Hmm.
just randomly picked me out of the hat. So
Right.
making me
And
mad.
remember, I know, and we just like, okay, so what do they want? Okay, we're gonna give them what they want. So and it wasn't a lot. It really
Yeah.
wasn't a lot. They just wanted to see like your three biggest expenses. They
Hmm.
want a description of how you operate your business, and they
Yeah.
want to see a copy of your federal tax return. So to be honest with you, I believe they just want to make sure that your state tax return mirrors your federal tax return. They
Gotcha.
want to see that continuity.
Okay. Okay. Got Leroy. Leroy Jefferson in the building. What's up, Leroy?
Hey, Leroy.
Yeah. Leroy asked. His question is, are you able to deduct clothing expense and childcare expenses?
Clothing expenses only if it's a business expense. Child care expense, yes. If you have a child and that child is a dependent on your tax return, for a child that is 12 years and under,
Hmm.
yes, child care expenses are deductible.
Okay. He said, for example, medical, like medical uniforms.
Medical uniforms, no, not unless it's a business expense. That's one of those expenses that were taken away after the Trump administration got in the first term
So you got to wait
or
for
two.
another 3 or 4 years to see if they're going to bring that back. You
Yeah,
know
I'm
what I'm
telling you, I love those unreimbursed business. Well, they were called unreimbursed employee expenses,
saying?
and
Okay.
I really believe that. And this is another podcast.
Hmm.
What I'm about to say because I kind of feel like they already knew what was happening with COVID.
Hmm.
They that was orchestrated, and then they knew everybody was going to be at home working from home, so they took
Yeah.
those deductions away because they knew everybody was going to be able to qualify for them. And
Gotcha.
those type of deductions was some of the things like what he's saying. Clothes that you had
Well,
to wear for work you could have deducted on your tax return, but that's no longer a thing.
okay. What people with business and things like that, what should they look forward to doing an audit if they get audit? What some of the things that they have to prepare themselves if they get that letter saying, hey, we need this, we
Hmm.
need that. How could they prepare themselves for that?
Well, first and foremost, to prepare yourself even to do your taxes, your bookkeeping and accounting is the heartbeat of your business. I say that to every business owner. If you are not keeping great books, you are in trouble
Mm.
because that's why a lot of business owners and people in general hate tax season because they haven't kept great records. They think that everything is going to come in the mail. Everything doesn't come in the mail. Yes, 1099s and W-2s come in the mail, but what about the other things that you need to put on your tax return that you have to keep records of?
Mm.
And you have to keep great records. If you're keeping great records, doing your taxes and completing an audit is a cakewalk because you got everything already documented. You got
Hmm.
it at your fingertips, and you just get it, scan it, and send it off.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did sort of good job with it, but things happen when my business is not like a everyday type of business type of thing. It's like by demand, on demand.
Right, but I'm gonna tell you this, said, and I hear a lot of people say just that. What you say, it's not an
Mhm.
everyday thing, but to me, those are the easiest businesses to keep books for.
Mm.
And especially if that's something that's an expense that you're trying to not outsource to someone else like myself,
Mhm.
a professional that can keep your books. Because I do know as a business owner, especially when you have a small business, you do
Mhm.
want to try to save as much money as you can. But I just believe that saving on accounting and tax preparation, that should be something that you know that you're going to have to pay, and let a professional do it, because you're already trying to build your business. You're
Mhm.
trying to run a day-to-day operation and trying to keep up with the books too.
Mhm.
That is a headache, especially if you're not an accountant, because you don't know what you're supposed to be keeping. You don't
Right.
know what else is an expense. What is a deduction? Because a lot of people, when they start businesses, they don't sit down with an accountant first.
Mm.
That should be one of the first things you do when you're even have a thought about starting a business. First, you want to do your market research as to what needs to be done. What do I need to start this business? What skill set do I have to run this business? And your second thing you should be doing is sitting down with an accountant to say, hey, this is the business that I'm trying to start up.
Mhm.
What do you think? What type of tax implications am I going to have from the business structure that I'm choosing? And an accountant can help you to actually choose your business structure as well, because I meet with a lot of people and I tell them when they're starting their businesses up, let's talk about your 5 year and your 10 year plan, because
Right.
you want to grow into your business. You don't want to grow out of your business,
Mm.
because a lot of things that I teach to my clients is things that I've gone through growing pains for myself. When I first
Mhm.
started off, I was a sole proprietor. So everything was going on my personal tax return. And as my business grew, I had to restructure my business to a corporation because I needed separate taxation. I
Yeah.
needed to be taxed as an individual and I needed to be taxed as a business. So those
Mm.
are the conversations that, people need to have as business owners if you're really going to take the business serious.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the part. Try to separate the two, and now because I actually decided, I had it last year. I had my business credit card.
Okay.
I started using, but the thing is, by me going, like I said, my business on demand. So sometimes
Mhm.
I use my debit card, sometimes I use a business card. Then I'm going back and forth. But this year, everything that's
Yes.
business,
Yes.
business
You
credit
you
card.
have to. You have to. And I'm glad you brought that up. That is the easiest way to keep up with your business expenses if you don't want to pay someone like me to keep your books.
Mm.
The easiest way to keep your deductions and your expenses all in one place is to use either a business credit card or a business banking account.
Okay.
Whether it's a savings or a checking account, of course, it's usually a checking account. Because if you got people that are going to pay you for your services,
Hmm.
they can pay directly to that business account. If you taking credit cards, that credit card POS could be directly linked to your business account, so that money is going into that account.
Hmm.
And then when you are making business expenses, like if you have business dinners and lunches, you're meeting with clients or you're meeting with other business professionals
Hmm.
that you're going to brainstorm things with, swipe that business debit card. to
Mm,
pay for that dinner or their lunch. If you got some supplies you need to purchase, like for you,
mhm.
t-shirts and things like that, or equipment for like press machines and things like that, make sure you're using that business account.
Yeah, because I definitely like I before we even got on demand, somebody needed some shirts made or whatever, so I got that started using my business credit card or whatever. And know a lot of people probably don't have the business credit card or whatever, but you got to start somewhere. I mean, you can just
Yeah,
apply for it, and then if you get it, you get it. If you don't, like you just said, you can use your like open up just a business account. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Let's get that going. What do you
yeah.
actually need for a business account? Maybe. I mean, I know this, but some people probably don't know.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
get
yeah.
into it.
So typically, in every bank is different, and every city and state is different. But in
Mhm,
general, to open up a business account, you need to have a tax EIN number
mhm,
for your business. You need to have set up your business on your state website where you're paying for your business operation, your annual reports, and things
mhm,
like that. So you're actually registered with your prospective state that you are running your business in,
mhm.
so that they can search and make sure that this is a legitimate company.
Right.
And so that's usually the two things that you need.
I know Illinois does that. In Indiana, I didn't have to do that. And
Okay.
no, because I know when I did it, while I was staying in Chicago, you had to run an ad or something. This was a while ago. You had to run
Mm-hmm.
an ad in the paper or whatever for I think like a
That's a
day.
sole prop. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But down here, I didn't have to do. I just apply, and then it's kind of different down here. So it's kind of
Mhm.
easy for me to get my LLC or whatever down here. So
Yeah.
which is fine. So it made it kind of easy for me to get my business credit card. But you got to have good credit to get that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you gotta be the person guarantor for most
Right.
companies.
So
Yeah.
I mean, now a lot of stuff start coming in now that I got two, but I don't need no more. I don't need no other credit card. I'm going bouncing. I don't need no more because I just don't need it. But I mean, with that being said, I had wanted to ask with the like I said, we back on the audit side of things.
Mhm.
To get people, like you said, to get people more prepared for that, what receipts should they really keep? Everything or just the
All of
main
them.
thing? Okay.
Everything you need to keep. You need to keep everything.
Okay.
Period. You need to keep everything. And then it first and foremost, when you get the audit, don't get scared. Give it to the tax professional that's helping you so that they can have that time that they need to help assist you. Because some audits, clients can actually do themselves, and
Hmm.
they can just kind of get some direction as to what's needed, because sometimes the language in those letters are a little fuzzy
Yeah.
for a person to understand. So first you want to get that letter to a professional so they can look it over and read it, and then in layman's terms, if that needs to be translated to you, what is being asked of you, so
Yeah.
that they know exactly what it is that they need to provide to whomever, whether it's a state department of revenue, or whether it's the internal revenue service.
Well, because actually, what happened to me, and I don't mind putting my stuff out there like that, but I'm gonna put it out there. What happened to me when it came back to me, I panicked. I
You
panicked.
did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, come on now. What you panicking for? You like, I ain't doing it. I'm like, yes. I'm
I,
like, because I always tell my clients, we ain't no punks.
yeah.
Like, we gonna answer everything.
Yeah.
We know we put what was legally due to you. So
Yeah.
why panic and let them keep money that they shouldn't keep? Because they're banking on you're gonna say forget it, so
Yeah.
they don't have to refund whatever money it is.
But it was like it was kind of like a little bit different because I owed them, like I owed them money, and I was like, man, I'm just gonna go ahead and pay because I ain't got time for this stuff. Let's move on. You was like, no, let's get.
No, we're not. No, we're not giving them nothing. Wait. Wait. And you know what? Another thing that I like to tell people too, those letters are time sensitive. So they tell you, respond in 30 days.
Mhm.
They want you to respond in a time frame. So that's why it's important for you. As soon as you get that letter, you give it to a tax professional so they can give you give them that 30 days, because you don't know what they got on their calendar for the next 30 days. They may
Mhm.
not be able to get to that audit for the next 2 weeks. And then if you've held on to it for 2 weeks, now you're like at the deadline.
Mhm.
But even if you miss the deadline, there's still always time to answer an audit,
Mm.
because you can reopen an audit that's already been closed for the most part. So even if you panic and let the audit close out and they make a determination that's not favorable to you, you can still appeal it.
Yeah, because actually when the letter came, I was like, "Uh-oh." I was like, "Uh-oh." I said, let me get them what they want." But I didn't, like you said, what they sent in the letter, I didn't understand it, and I just started sending them anything. They kicked that back like, that's not
This
gonna
is not
work.
it. This is not it.
Right.
Yeah, this is not
I had to
it.
call you up. I called you up like, hey, I need some help with this. You know what I'm saying? You hooked me up with that. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It came, I panicked. I did. I ain't gonna lie, I panicked. Like I go ahead and pay them the money so they can leave me alone. That's how I was on that mode.
Because when you was like, pay them, I'm like, pay them what? What
I'm
do
like, I
you
don't
mean?
know. They
I'm
want
gonna say,
it.
what you mean? Pay them? No, no, they owe you money.
I was like, pay that. I don't want. Pay them what they want. I'm done.
Yeah, and then in like a case like you, it's like what they had done is, because you kept saying you was just gonna pay them. I'm just like, no. So what they're assuming is that they're taking away all your deductions and credits, and they're just gonna give you the bottom line. And the bottom line usually is that you end up owing them.
Yeah, and that's exactly what they were trying to do. Whatever. I was like, oh man. I was like, here we go again. Pay them. Pay them. I ain't got time for all this because I want to
No.
try to go back and look at nothing else. But I mean, you calm me down, and I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's why I wanted to do this particular show because I know a lot of people in that I'm friends with, that you're friends with, or whatever, that got
Mhm.
businesses that may have went through this or may will go through it sooner or later. Because I mean,
Mhm.
they may not hit you now, but they could hit
Yeah,
you next year. You know what I'm
they
saying? So,
could. Yeah, they very well could. And it's just like you just go through the motions and give them whatever it is that they need.
yeah.
It's okay.
But I mean, so with all that being said, with the audit, what else is out there? Because like I said, they only got like what 15 more, almost 15 more days
Yep.
to get it in. And for the people who just
Okay.
came in, I mean, she said you could ask for
An extension.
an extension.
Mhm.
So for those people that just get in, how do they get that? Do they just ask who they talk to about that?
Yeah, they can ask their tax professional, hey, because you found me an extension. There's probably going to be a fee for that, really nominal. And then, just pay the extension, whatever their preparation fee for filing the extension. And then they have 6 months to file the tax return. So basically, they've extended their due date from April 15th to October 15th.
Oh, gotcha. Is that the same apply for business, or is business on the 15th as well? April?
It depends. So businesses that are formed as C corporations and a true partnership, which they filed what's called a 1065 form.
Hmm.
So a limited liability company that has at least two partners in it. And for trust tax returns, if you have a trust, those tax returns, their due dates are March 15th. So their extension date has already, gone. They should
Uh,
have filed an extension by March 15th because that's when their taxes are due. But if you're just a single member LLC or sole proprietorship, you still have until April 15th to file an extension.
okay, so people out there, people in the back, y'all need to get y'all stuff done. And if you don't think you should do your business taxes, and you think you should or you don't think you could, you need to look into it before April 15th.
Yes.
You still got a little
Yes.
time.
And don't wait until April 15th to start calling somebody to file an extension. Do you know how many extensions we filed on that one day? I just talked to a person today and they're like, hey, I need to get with you and get my taxes done. I said, okay, let's file you an extension. I'm filing her extension tomorrow. One
Mm,
of my clients, I filed an extension the first day of tax season.
wow.
So you don't have to wait until April 15th to file an extension. And then you just never know what that tax professional's um, what their load is for the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And then if you don't get that extension filed, then I mean now you paying a penalty for filing late and all
Mm.
of that, which you could have avoided. And this is one thing I do want to say about
Mhm.
extensions. Extensions, and I kind of hate I kind of share this with my clients because they kind of take it overboard now. Um, if you anticipate a refund, you don't have to file an extension
Mm.
because you have 3 years to claim a tax return. Extensions really are for people who owe because they don't want to get that penalty. You know,
Yeah.
of course, the IRS don't really want you to advertise that. They want everybody to file by April 15th.
Mhm.
And even if you're a person that anticipate a refund, if you're not going to file on the 15th, they do want you to file an extension also. But it's not um, necessary.
Yeah.
I
But
used to have a client that he only filed his taxes every 3 years. So I would have 3 years worth of returns to do for him. So he would get three refund checks every 3 years.
he must got a good job. 'Cause
He did. He did.
for somebody to hold out for 3 years, man.
He filed every 3 years.
Oh, so you can do that.
You can.
Okay.
You can do it.
I ain't knowing that.
They don't really like you to do that, but you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Ah. So you want if he do it every 3 years, he must do it. Do he let you do it? Like for instance, let's just say for instance, do he let you see his taxes or whatever, so you know if he owe or not? What happened if he owe?
And now if he owed, he was gonna be really screwed because then now he was gonna have 3 years worth of interest and penalties to pay.
Mm.
That was gonna be the kicker. But in his instance, he was getting a
Good.
refund. So
Gotcha.
he would
Gotcha.
just like bank all his money. So
We don't. I don't know if we should advertise that. Somebody.
I
Somebody.
don't recommend that to anybody, but I just wanted to,
It can. You can't
you
do it.
it can be done.
I don't think nobody over here gonna do that anyway.
No, I know. And let me tell you, like people think that it's a tax season. I call them waves.
Mm.
Because for me, and I understand why people say tax season because people think of taxes is January to April and that's
Mm.
it. But when you have a full service business, you are busy all year round. So that's why I call it waves. So
Okay.
that's just the biggest wave. It's
Mm.
January to April. Then there's going to be another wave, which is audit season, which is right now.
Yeah.
This is audit season now. So,
Yeah.
people are starting to get those audit paperwork.
Mm. So and it well, I know we wanted to do the with the business part of it. Is this something that you want to? I mean, we're not about to end it, but is this something
Hmm.
that you want to actually put out there? Because I'm speaking from a business point. This is
Hmm.
my first time really, my second year actually doing like with the business because got my LLC or whatever. But is it something that needs to be out there that I may haven't brought to your attention or put out
Hmm.
there?
Well, I know you kept you're kind of getting you've asked like a couple times, and I don't know if I've really truly answered your question. You're saying what is it that people really need to do, or what do they need to keep?
Yeah.
Um, and I have to talk in general because everybody's business is unique.
Mm-hmm.
You may be in the same industry, but your business is still unique to you. So, what I tell people, whatever is usual and customary for you to run your business, that is a tax deduction for you in your business.
Mm-hmm.
So keep a receipt for it, keep documentation of it. And a receipt doesn't have to be a piece of paper. It could be something electronically because everybody's going paperless now.
Yeah.
But you need to have a trail. You just keep a digital trail. And like I say, it's easy if you keep everything all in one place where you're using the same business bank account, the
Mm-hmm.
business debit card or business credit card. Now, two, if you're a sole proprietorship or a single member LLC, you can open up a personal bank account, but just make sure you're only running your business transactions through it because it's cleaner for your books.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can just simply use bank statements,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you can put things in a spreadsheet to make it be all uniform and nice and put together on a bow for your tax professional, because the last thing we want is somebody to print us out 12 months of bank statements and say here it is, because it's like, dude or girl, i'm
Yeah.
i'm about to be doing your books before I do your taxes. And
All
see,
right.
they don't understand when I send them that $1,700 bill. They like, wait a minute, what's that for? Because I had to do your books first. I
Yeah.
that Just a laundry list of transactions, that's just like dumping receipts on my desk.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
you
just
got
in a
to.
different format. So now I got to line through your whole
Yeah.
bank statements and gather up all of the gas and then total it. Now I got to go back and then gather up all the rent. And it's like going through 12 months of receipts.
Yeah.
It's
And
no different.
imagine if you got like 20 of those. So for you, I'm just saying, it helps you out to keep the
It
receipts up. It
does.
helps the tax professional job easy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And I
Because
mean,
the
yeah.
thing is, you came to get your taxes done, not bookkeeping.
Hmm.
That's just it. That's the bottom line. You came to get your taxes done, not your bookkeeping. And so you put that pressure on a tax professional to do your books, because they have to do your books before they do your taxes.
Hmm.
Because I don't know what's, let's just say your gas deductions.
Hmm.
I don't know what your gas expense was until I add it all up. I don't
Hmm.
know how much you pay for rent until I add it all up. Now, some of my clients, it's easy to kind of go through because um, some of the bills are consistent.
Hmm.
Like your rent is usually the same amount every month for the full 12 months, or maybe 6 months or 6 months. That's easy. I can say, hey, how much did you pay for rent? And you can say, tell me that or
Hmm.
whatever. But when you get into more tedious things, like if you had supplies,
Hmm.
you don't want to just dump some big number on your tax return for supplies. You want to laundry list that stuff out, because that stops you from being audited. When you're more specific about your deductions, then they don't question it. So let's just say, for instance, if I would have put on a tax return $10,000 for supplies,
Hmm.
supplies could have been, I'm just going to use your business as
Hmm.
you could have had t-shirts, you could have had ink for your printers, you
Yeah.
could have had paper for your printer, you could have had microphones,
Yeah.
you could have had computers. All of that encompasses your supplies.
Hmm.
But if I just put supplies, $10,000, it's like, I don't know if CedItUp Productions for an entertainment business really had $10,000 in supply. Let's audit this return and see what this is. Whereas if I would have put microphones, $200,
Yeah.
t-shirts, $650,
Yeah.
ink, whatever, and it totaled $10,000.
Right.
you know, what I do, I laundry list that out on what I call a scratch pad, and I attach it to the supplies line. So
Mm.
the total of the supplies would transfer to that supply line, but they do still have an itemized list of what the supplies are. So
Right.
now they're not going to question it. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense now.
So they figure you're not so they figure you're not juicing the number
Exactly.
ups. Okay.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
exactly. So the more specific you are with reporting any expenses on your tax return,
Mhm.
the better it is. Even like with a person when they are paying utilities, I would never put a total just for utilities. I would say gas, light, internet, phone,
Mhm.
and I'll give a price for all four of those versus just lumping them all into one big number. because
Oh.
if I laundry list the 4 utilities out, it's going to automatically transfer the total of the 4 utilities onto the utilities deduction line.
Mm.
But you've already given them explanation, because that's what an audit is. They want you to explain why. But
Yeah.
if you already tell them why in the gate,
Yeah.
they never you leave room for them not to question anything.
Gotcha. Gotcha. I mean, because it's I. I like a lot of stuff that you told me. I mean, I took heed to it. I mean, even with the app that you told me about, Boz, with the mileage or whatever,
Hmm.
and that sucker, like,
You like it?
yeah, yeah,
Good,
because it was
good.
from here to Chicago, because doing business back and forth or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I think you said how much would it was a mile? I think
I
it's
think it's 56 cent a mile this year. It fluctuates. I think it's
yeah, that's
56.
it's up there because once I drove that to Chicago and back, I was like, wow, that's a lot.
Mm,
That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? I got to actually
yeah.
go up there this weekend, and I'm gonna actually use that app to get, use it up. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how much, by mileage and stuff like that. That's stuff you got to actually
Mhm.
have on file. You can't just say, well, estimate that. If you got that narrowed down to the bone, they ain't gonna question
Absolutely.
it.
And that's what that I'm so glad you said that, because I'll sit down with somebody and I'm like, okay, if they got a business like yours and they're not doing a whole lot, and this is their first year and they
Mhm,
haven't really kept the books as tight as they should have,
mhm.
and I'm going line by line and I'm questioning them about deductions, and then they're throwing out numbers like $500, $1,200.
Yeah,
Those sound like estimations.
yeah, yeah.
And so I always tell people, you don't want to estimate anything. You want to give them exact numbers. So
Just down to the cents.
right down to the dollar. I round to the nearest dollar. So
Yeah.
it's 1,200 $12,283. It ain't just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's $61.
yeah, yeah,
Because everything does not end in a zero or a five. That is a sure sign that you are estimating to the
yeah,
IRS.
yeah.
And when you give them those perfectly round numbers, they know that you don't have receipts. You're
Mm,
coming off the dome with what you think you owe. I mean,
right.
what you think you spent, or
Yeah.
and so estimations are never good on a tax return.
Wow. That's something to think about too. That's something to
Yeah.
think about. Like,
Because
yeah,
even when a client send me like their little spread, well, sometimes it's not as well. It's usually not on a spreadsheet. They
like
may
me,
give me like a Word document and they'll list out, what they do, what they
like I did.
did. Yeah, and I'm just like, this is all estimations. Then I call them like, no,
Yeah.
let's start this over.
Right. Right.
Like, no, we're not doing this. Because the thing is that not only are you being audited, I'm being audited too. And
Mm.
that's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, I'll get like a group of new clients that were going to a tax preparer at
Hmm.
some point. All of them were going to the same person, and now they're all coming to me. And I'm like, wait a minute, who referred you?
Hmm.
Okay, and okay, that person was okay. So what's going on? Most of the time is that the tax preparer is being audited,
Mm.
because they're doing the same thing over and over again with all of their clients.
Okay.
And so the clients, in order to audit a tax preparer, you have to audit their clients.
Wow.
And when
Mm.
their clients can't come up with, you know, what they need, then now it's like, okay, now we need to start dinging this tax preparer and finding the tax preparer for doing all these
Yeah.
frivolous returns.
Right.
So, like, people ask me, do your clients get audited a lot? Not really.
Mm.
I'm always going to see some audits.
Hmm.
Always going to see some audits. But most of the audits that I do are always from new clients, because they have gone somewhere else
Hmm.
and not gotten the services that they should have gotten. And now I'm kind of helping to clean up some other stuff. But yes, my clients do get audited, just because everybody is open to an audit. But I always tell everybody, when you get that letter in the mail, just send it to me. We are not afraid of audits, because we know what we've done
Hmm.
is legitimate, because we sign all of our returns. So we're held just as liable as our clients for their tax return
Mm,
because we signed off that we prepared it.
right. Right. I think I wanted to ask, as far as with the business, a new business, how long, how many years are you to keep on saying you took losses, you took losses, you took losses and stuff like that? Because that comes, I know that comes up a lot. You know, it may come up a lot. How long you got before they actually, okay, you need to get out the business? You know what I'm saying?
It is. It's like 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
3 to 5 years, and it's like your loss should start going down too.
Hmm.
And but then it kind of depends on the economy too.
Okay.
But it's about 3 to 5 years. In Illinois, I have to say, Illinois is very strict about it. Illinois will hit you with an audit in a minute and be like, this ain't no business. This is a hobby now. And they will call it a hobby.
Yeah.
Like, so I guess they like you playing
Right.
because
Right.
this ain't
Right.
no business. You're not gonna keep losing like that.
Hmm.
Because the thing about I'm just going to be honest. A lot of people do business, start some kind of side hustle or business
Hmm.
to offset not taking out the proper amount of taxes from their W two income,
Okay.
and that is so transparent.
Hmm.
Because if you didn't have this business deduction, you would owe the IRS or you would owe your state.
Yeah.
So now you're saying, oh, but I had this business that I lost in. So now I get to deduct that business loss from my W 2 income to offset my taxes.
Mm.
It's really easy. And I tell people all the time, you can make a tax return say whatever you need it to say, but does it make sense?
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
it make sense? I can do a tax return and you get $50 million back, but does it make sense?
Yeah.
Does it
Yeah.
make sense? Now, don't get me wrong. I've the biggest tax refund I've ever done, I think, was $30,000, maybe.
Okay.
Because those tax refunds do exist. They really
Hmm.
do exist. However, you know, everything just has to make sense.
Hmm.
Everything has to make sense. You can't say I had uh, I made $25,000 and I went exempt all year. I ain't paid no federal taxes. And then I had this business that I lost $15,000 in, and now I got this
Yeah.
five
That makes
thousand
sense.
dollar refund. That don't make no sense
Yeah.
because why it doesn't make sense to the IRS is saying, okay, you made $25,000 on your W two income, but you had a $15,000 business loss, which is causing you to get this $5,000 refund. Now let's look at it on the surface. That means you lived off of $10,000 for the
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Can you really live off of $10,000 with two kids?
Gotcha.
Can you
Gotcha.
had a household with two kids?
Yeah.
The tax return said you got $5,000.
Hmm.
Yeah, and guess what? You gonna get the $5,000, but they may come back for that money 2, 3 years from now. Just because you get the refund, don't mean you're in the clear.
Right. 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 Right.
And that's what I tell people. Like, I had some clients leave and go somewhere else, and they were telling the clients that stayed that were relatives of them, like, yeah, we got more money this year than we ever got with Roe.
Hmm.
I was like, okay, well, we'll see how that work out 3 to 4 years from now.
Uh.
Because there's no statute of limitation for when the IRS can even audit a return. They can go back as far as they want to. And if they do go back far on a return and they audit a return and they want you to run them that refund back that you got,
They gonna get it.
you're gonna pay interest and penalties on that 5 years that you had that money.
Wow.
So now your $5,000 refund just turned into a $16,000 bill. Was it worth it?
And they're gonna get it.
And they're definitely gonna get it. Because let me tell you how many levy letters I see when people think that, oh, I owe the IRS this money and I ain't gonna pay them, and they let a $2,000 bill balloon up to $20,000 because they think out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
They haven't came after me but then you go to the ATM machine one day to get $20 out, and you get a slip back saying your account is negative $12,000 because they just levied your bank account.
Wow.
I've had several of those clients come to me like that.
Wow.
So levies are real. If you think you're sitting on a tax bill and you think, oh, this is something from 2020 I owe and I ain't paid it yet, oh, they coming. Cause
See,
they just letting that bill keep growing because they're charging interest and penalties on it daily.
that,
Daily.
see, Rolanda, that's the part that makes me want to just pay it.
No, but that's the part that you make sure you go to someone like me that's going to educate you so you don't
Yeah.
pay it.
Yeah.
So that's never an issue in the beginning anyway.
Hmm.
It's never going to be an issue, but if an audit does come up, look, we're going to get them what they need so they could go on their way and go bother somebody else cuz we know we did what was right over here.
Right. Right. Right.
So that's
Right.
it. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. No, I mean, like I said, because like I said, those type of things they scary and they
Oh
will.
yeah.
Nobody wants to get that letter or anything because you never know what that. Because when the letter came in, I was like, okay, how much is this?
Yeah. Nobody
Because
wants
they
those letters.
right because they don't like they said they don't call you, they don't send you an email. They actually send a letter to the house. I never had anything. Those are scams, pretty much. I heard those are
Absolutely.
scams.
They're absolutely. The IRS never calls you and the IRS never emails you. The only time an IRS agent will call you if you're working directly with an agent, and that's still even rare.
Mm,
They don't call. They'll give you a number to call them.
yeah.
But when you get a phone call talking about you owe the IRS some money and we want our money and send us, that's a scam. An
They want the
email. They're not emailing anybody.
right.
And the thing about these scammers is that they actually use the IRS logo
Mm,
in an email.
wow.
They've even mailed letters to people before. Because I had a client that had gotten a letter in the mail, and they said that she owes some money, and actually it was the Illinois Department of Revenue. It was a scam letter though,
Mm,
and so when she got the letter, I'm like, bring the letter into the office. Let me see it. Because when I looked at the tax return that was questioning,
mhm,
I'm like, you don't owe this particular debt. Not in that year. You didn't owe that money. You got a refund that year.
right.
So I'm like, bring the letter in. And she's like, no, I'm just gonna pay it. I'm like, no, bring the letter in. Said this first of all, when she handed me the letter, it was on some thin white paper.
Right.
When I felt the letter, I'm like, it's a scam. It's not even the quality of paper that
Right. Right.
that they use.
Yeah.
And then the address wasn't even the correct address for the Department
Wow.
of Revenue.
They
So
want they wanted the round number and everything so you could pay it and all that stuff and because like you said, once you get those letters, you got everybody. Like I said, I was part of that.
panic.
You panic,
Hmm.
panic. So I mean, once you see those letters like that, I mean, just take the time because, like I said, I did panic, and then Rolanda, what's next? You just
Hmm.
send me over the
Yeah.
letter. You looked it
Yeah.
over, like, okay, nah, you're not paying that. I was like,
Yeah. I'm like, no. And then also, you got to understand too, with an audit, you got to be patient for their results. Results aren't coming in 30 days.
mm-hmm,
Sometimes they're not even coming in 60 to 90 days
mm,
because they got to review everything that you sent in.
mm-hmm,
And
yeah,
they want to nitpick it anyway because at the end of the day, of course, they're not trying to pay.
right,
They're trying to collect. Always keep in mind the IRS are tax collectors. They don't care who they collecting from. They just want to collect.
mm,
So the name of the game is to pass the bill to someone else.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, no, it's cool. Like I said, and I appreciate you came through for me because like I said, I'm not playing with those folks. I don't want to play with those folks. You know what
I
I'm saying?
know. I know. We don't play with three people, the I, the R, and the S.
But I'm trying to figure out what because it's we like once again, people who just joined in, we down to the last wire of April 15th. You got to get this done. You got to get it done soon, sooner than later, because the time is almost up, and they're gonna start shutting it down. And you never know what's going on with the man Trump. They could instantly shut it down again, shut the government down again,
Yeah.
and then you're gonna really be screwed.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy because I'm glad you said that too because I have two clients still waiting on some stuff from 2020. It's 2026, y'all.
Wow.
Because you got to understand the IRS have gone through some devastation
Mm.
from COVID.
COVID. Yeah.
You know, and the biggest devastation that the IRS went through was that when remember when we were all shut down and nobody could go anywhere, it was just essential workers out
Hmm.
there.
Hmm.
The mailroom was shut down at the IRS for weeks, so
Mm.
it was piles and piles and piles of mail.
Yeah.
I had a few clients that we had to resubmit stuff that we had already submitted because it took them almost a year to go through the backlog of mail.
Wow.
And then once they did open up, it took them almost a year to go through the backlog of mail because you got to think there's a lot of casualties with COVID.
Hmm.
You know, IRS employees passed away.
Mm.
You know, some of them couldn't withstand staying off work, so they had to find other jobs, so they quit.
Yeah. Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
so the IRS went through a lot of devastation, you know, starting with 2020. And then you had the two government shutdowns.
Hmm.
You've had people furloughed. You've had people forced into early retirement. You had people to quit. So they've had a lot of devastation. And
Mm.
so they haven't rebound from that. And then you already know that the IRS was already a strained part of our structure in this
Yeah.
country anyway. They were already slow.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
this just 10x everything that they were already going through.
Yeah. Because like, and it what made me think about something, those the business that everybody said they had back in the day after that, just because they didn't get you then, like you said, they can always go back, you know what I'm saying, and pick that up or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
have you haven't had any issues with that yet?
No, I have. Yeah, I have because a few clients that did not return to me. Okay, let me back it up. When that that kind of the ELD loan and the PPP loans
Right, right.
and any of the COVID type
Hmm. Hmm.
credits and things that were going on, those things were easy to apply for. But you had a lot of vultures out there that saw it come up. They
Yeah.
weren't even tax preparers. They just knew that they knew they could go online. They can input something in a online application
Hmm.
and it'll spit out a $10,000
Yeah.
check or $20,000 check. Everybody was always talking about the 10K check and a 20K check.
Hmm.
Okay, that's fine. But you had to understand what they were doing to get that money. You know, for that one, I can't remember which one it was. I think it was the ELD
Hmm.
loan where when you were getting $10,000, you were saying you had 10 employees
Oh,
because they were giving you $1,000 per
per-
employee.
gotcha.
So it's like, okay, everybody got 10 employees.
Mm.
And
Right.
so, but this is the thing, an employee is a person that you are paying payroll taxes to the IRS for.
Mm. Gotcha.
So, this is what is happening now. Now the IRS is going back and they're matching records with the SBA
Hmm.
with the people that said they had 10 employees. And now the IRS is saying, well, they didn't pay payroll taxes for 10 people.
Mm.
We don't have any records of this company paying payroll taxes for 10 employees. So now you owe this money back. And
And
I
it,
am seeing that. I am
and it's
seeing that.
yeah, and I think it's probably it may be easy too, because if you file and say you had a business, whatever. Then the next year you didn't. None of these people are the because this happened in like what
20.
2020.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2020 to 2026, you haven't filed anything about your business from 2020 to 2026. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy. It's easy to catch up with that real quick.
Yeah, yeah. And then the thing too is that they extended the statute of limitations for prosecution on these.
Mm, wow.
So they still got time.
We ain't
And
trying to scare no,
so,
we ain't trying to scare
yeah,
nobody, but we just letting you know.
no, we're just letting you know the truth because I've
Mhm.
known a couple Chicago police officers to lose their jobs behind
Mm,
this.
yeah.
I've had some clients that lost Section 8 vouchers
Mm,
because of this,
mm,
um, Social Security benefits. So it's like, y'all, is it really worth it? You got to
yeah.
think about the long term to that. And then what good did you do with the money?
You could have got your business started. Actually, actual business started.
Yeah, yeah. And so, and even with that, a lot of people that did those, COVID type credits and things like that, they were all going on, they were flooding these state sites starting LLCs.
Mm,
But you were supposed to have the business established prior to 2020.
right.
So they actually went for the bait. So now
Mm,
you have a proven paper trail that this business wasn't even in existence in 2019
wow. There
because
they,
you just filed your LLC in 2020.
right. But you got credit for.
But you got credit saying that this business was established because all of the businesses had to be established business pre-COVID to
Yeah.
to be devastated by COVID.
Yeah.
But so it's all of the you got to think about if you want to be a criminal, you got a lot of stuff you got to think about before you commit that crime.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because you're going to do that time.
Yeah.
You're going to do
Um,
that time. So, people call me, could you do my application? I'm like, nope, because it's like a 5-second application. You can do it yourself.
right.
And, just be honest and truthful about it.
Yeah.
But there are people that were doing those type of applications for people and charging them $2,000 and $3,000 for a quick. They could have answered those questions themselves. But
Yeah.
what's happening is all of those people they made more money doing those fraudulent applications than the people did collecting the money in some cases. Because
Yeah.
just think if I was doing applications and I was charging everybody $2,000 and $3,000 and I did about 25 applications, look how much money I just made.
Right. 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 And you ain't on a. You're not
And
getting
I'm not
into
gonna
the.
be on the hook for the money.
Right. Right.
But what's gonna probably start happening for some of those people to get off the hook, they're gonna start telling who did these applications.
Mm. But if you did it yourself, I mean, you still on the
You
hook.
still on the hook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Period. But the
Yeah.
thing is that you got a 10K loan, but you only got 7,000 of it because you gave the other person 3,000. But when you get, you know,
Mhm.
dinged for it, you paying the whole 10,000 back. They
It-
free and clear with they three.
right. With the interest, probably, right?
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
and penalties and
Wow.
penalties. I had a couple clients, well, potential clients, because they ended up not being clients. They
Mm-hmm.
they came with letters for that type of stuff, and they got hit with a $5,000 fine for filing a frivolous return.
Mm. Wow.
You know, those penalties are real, and they're sitting on their tax records, and it ain't nothing you can do about it but pay it.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? How you gonna prove you did that? How you gonna prove you had this business in 2019 and there's no record of it?
No
Nowhere.
LLC. No LLC. Nowhere.
Nowhere. So, it's just unfortunate, and
Yeah.
some people I was trying to tell. I even lost a few clients behind it because they were just like, I wouldn't do applications and things like that. I'm like, I'm not doing that. You could do that application. It's simple.
Right.
You know, if you got a business, which I ain't never known you to file no business on your tax return, but
Right.
go ahead, go
That's
for
on
it.
you. Right. Right.
It's a couple seconds to do it. Go ahead and do it. And now, they're too embarrassed to come back.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
then that was there was this whole website that you can go on and type in a person's name and city and
It pop
state
up.
and bam, it'll pop right up. And I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, he
Yeah.
had a lawn care service? She had, she had what?
That's the crazy part about it. That stuff do pop up. It's public
Mhm.
records now. You
It's
know what I'm
public
saying? Because you're
record. It's
a
public
business.
record. Yep, it's public record. And because it's public record, now if you're participating in those um, government assisted programs,
Hmm.
now you just deemed yourself ineligible. So that's how those people lost um, um, housing vouchers
Mm.
and things like that, social security benefits, SNAP benefits, all of that. So it was just a ploy to get people off of these public assistance programs. I
Gotcha.
already knew it was a, because usually when I during the year, I usually take my continuing education classes starting around September,
Okay.
October,
Hmm.
right before tax season starts. But because we were shut down, I'm like, oh, I might as well take some CEUs and get them out the way, and
Hmm.
I'll, have them done. And I was taking a few classes, and there was classes about COVID, credits and all of
Hmm.
that kind of stuff. And when I went on one of the classes, they were just like, hey, tax professionals do not indulge in this illegal activity. They are already forming task force for the illegal activity that's about to happen with all of this money.
Wow.
So I was telling my clients that, like, y'all, this is a setup
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking about my own self. There was prior to COVID, I went on SBA trying to get a loan and got denied. And I
Mm.
had a legitimate business. Now all of a sudden they throwing ten and twenty
Right.
thousand dollars to the guy that got a lawn care service
Yeah.
or the girl that do nails. Come
Right.
on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But like you said, it got to make sense. If it don't make sense, they're gonna catch it.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just like, hey, God bless y'all ministry. Just
Right.
I'm not gonna participate in the shenanigans.
Right. Right.
Because they were saying that we would be prosecuted as accessories to
Mm.
the crimes. So
Yeah.
I've worked too hard to build my business since
Right.
you
To
know
get to get
2020.
taken out
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
yeah.
That
It
not
wasn't
even
worth
worth
it.
it.
A couple $1,000s. Come on now.
Yeah. 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 Is there anything else you want to get to the people before we get up out of here? Because I know we try to do this, want to do this like once a month or once every other month or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So is it something you want to leave them with something to think about this winding down to the 15th? Is there anything else you need wanted to put out there that they should be informed about, or pretty much you covered everything?
There is those two new credits that are out. I'm not. Most people may be familiar with it. If you work overtime,
Mm.
um, and a lot of the employers did not list that overtime pay on the W-2, you can substantiate that deduction by providing your tax professional with your paycheck stubs,
Mm.
because your year to date is gonna you know list what your overtime pay was. So you still can claim that deduction, although it doesn't show up on your W 2. Because it's showing up on a W 2, I think it's coded as OTTP for
Mm.
most people. Um, but that's something that kind of was sprung on employees before tax season started. So some of them in their accounting departments didn't have time to add that to W-2s. But we
Gotcha.
should all see it next year. That should be
Okay.
very consistent with employers. But that is a credit that you still can take advantage of. And there's also a credit for interest that you pay for a 2025 American made vehicle.
Oh yeah, you was telling me about that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I do know there was a person that was on the call
Hmm.
when we did it, in January, and I was talking about that credit, and she was like, "I think it's for a new car," and I was like, "Oh, let me go and make sure," And she was correct; it was a new car, so it had to be a new 2025. It can't be you got an American made 2011
Yeah.
and you just bought it.
Yeah.
No, it needs to be brand new 2025, purchased in 2025, American made.
It is brand
So
new.
Yeah,
It's it is brand new. If I got a 20, because I got a 2015, it's a brand new car. It's new to
yeah.
me.
No, not just new to you, new.
Yeah,
It need to be new, new.
yeah,
Yeah.
up to date.
So
Yeah.
right. So
Okay.
it's like, yeah, that is a credit. So the interest that's paid in that in 2025 that you paid towards
Mhm,
that vehicle is deductible. Unfortunately, people that flat out pay for cars,
mhm.
they didn't pay no interest, so they
Right.
couldn't, take that deduction.
But if they didn't miss it this year, can they get it next year? If they miss it this year, or it's gone. Once you missed it, it's
What do you
gone.
mean for 2025?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So I'm not for sure if that credit is going to show up next year. I'm not
Okay.
sure if that's going to be a permanent credit. So I
Okay.
don't know if it's going to be next year if you purchase a new 2026 American made car. I
Mm.
don't know. I just think Trump just, of course, it was a shot at Elon.
No, gotcha, gotcha. I ain't about to get I ain't about to get a 2025 or 2026 anyway, because yep, condos now like $600 a month. So
More than that, please. I see
yeah.
people paying $1,200 a month for a car. Like, do you sleep in
Mm,
that boy?
right.
That's some people's rent.
Man, uh-uh, uh-uh. Well, I mean, if it's like I said, if that's it, we're going to end it like this. But like I said, we go come back again. We'll put it out there. We don't know exactly when we come back. She got to look at Rolanda got to look at her schedule and see when she's available to come back again and bless us with the knowledge of tax season, even though it'll be over with by the time we come back. But just
Yeah,
keep us
but
informed what's going
it's
on.
over for y'all. It's never over for me.
Right.
It's never over for me. Yeah, but I enjoy what I do and I love educating people too. So, yeah.
And we'll keep that going. We'll definitely keep that going so people be more prepared next year. If they wasn't prepared this year, to be prepared next year. So we keep this going just to keep people prepared for next year and may even get a bigger tax refund next year.
Yeah. And just so you know, if you don't have a tax professional or you want to look into, maybe switching it up, you can always give me a call. My office number is 813-639-8400. That's my main office because I reside in Florida now. I do have an office location in Hyde Park, Chicago. And, I'm always there too. But the office that I work day to day is here in Tampa, Florida. So
Okay.
we would love to assist.
Give them the number again. And then is it a website they can look you up on as well?
Yes, they can look me up on my website, rawtax.us, and find some information there as well. But, I'm always happy to answer the phone and take a quick phone call and answer some questions. Sometimes it's going to warrant us to just book an appointment, and
Mhm.
we can do that. We can just book an appointment and talk about whatever tax questions you may have. If you got anything to set up for your businesses that you're starting up, bookkeeping, payroll services. We got just about anything that has to do with finances.
That's what's up. And like I said, once again, I appreciate you helping me out because like I said, I panicked and you kind of calmed me down with that. So I appreciate that. You came through for me. And like I said, until then, once again, next time we do this too, I'm gonna have your number and everything scrolling at the bottom of it
Oh,
so people
that's
will know.
fine.
You know what I'm
Yeah, and
saying?
we did that last time, but really we can put it in the chat.
Hmm.
And they can always call us, and I look forward to talking about other topics
Okay.
that's related to taxes and finances, because not only do we do taxes, we are a full financial service business where we help people make, grow, and protect their money.
Do you before we leave? Let's say if I wanted to invest in something, do you guys help? Like, is that a good move? Like, for instance,
Absolutely. It
okay,
is. It's a good move. I already know what you're going to say. It's a good move.
okay.
Investing, you need to invest. But I
Hmm.
always tell my clients, you want to start with guarantees first. Don't go to the stock market first.
Hmm.
That's just my personal opinion. Because why go gamble when you are just starting out?
Yeah.
Put some guarantees on your money first.
Hmm.
And then once we got our guaranteed investments locked and we have what we need as far as emergency funds, we don't have debt anymore. We got proper protection on all our assets.
Mm.
Then let's go play in the market.
Right. Right. I
Let's
think
go
that
play.
I think we could talk about that next time. That'd be a
Yeah,
great
I would
thing to
love
talk
to talk
about.
about that. I would love
Yeah.
to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, once again, like I said, this is CedItUp Production. We got Rolanda Johnson in the building, and we'll tune in. Get about another month or so. We'll be back then drop some knowledge
Yeah, we'll
and
do something in May.
okay, let's talk about it then. Okay. So
Yeah.
once again, thank you, Rolanda, for joining us, and we'll just talk to you later.
Okay, thanks for having me, said. I